Sam Darnold. I mean, 5 years ago, if you would hear that the Niners would sign Sam Darnold for a 1-year deal, it seemed kind of strange. He was such a big deal coming out of USC. Now he's not, but he's still only 25 and he's with the 49ers. What do you think of this deal?
Well, I mean, we could do the entire live stream on how interesting it is and all the ramifications of what it means for the other guys. But as far as Sam Darnold, no, I don't like Sam Darnold.
Mm.
Sam Darnold's played 5 seasons in the NFL. He has double-digit interceptions in 4 of them.
Hmm.
You know, I mean,
Okay.
he's got 55 career picks. And then
Whew.
if you go back to SC, he was on a loaded teams. He still threw a lot of picks.
He
He
did.
throws picks, lots of
Yeah.
picks. So I think he's kind of broken, but maybe they can fix him and coach him up. But it is interesting from the standpoint of, I think Sam Darnold thinks of himself as a starter or as a 2, not necessarily as a 3. Is he coming here as the 3, or is he coming here as the 2 and Trey Lance is going to get traded? I mean, I don't know what the deal is there, but I'm sure they'll tell us he's coming here as a 3, but man, if he's a 3 now, what a fall for Sam Darnold. This guy was, what was he, the 5th pick in the draft or something? You know, 3rd pick in the draft,
I
2018.
mean, he finished last season well. He won 4 games. He was 4-2 with the Panthers last year when they were pretty much thrown in the towel. What's interesting about that is their interim coach was Steve Wilks, who's now the Niners defensive coordinator. So maybe he really likes Darnold and vouched for him, and maybe the Niners actually feel like this is like a legit reclamation project with some upside. I mean, Hendon Hooker's 25 years old. He's going to be a 2nd or 3rd round pick. The Niners got Sam Darnold, who's struggled, but he's been in the NFL. He hasn't played for any team that's any good. Now he gets to check it down to Christian McCaffrey and look smart that he did that. I mean, it's an easier job here, although you do have to protect yourself to a degree. Can he move? Like, what do you think of his mobility?
I think it's just marginal. I mean,
Mhm.
I think he's a pretty good athlete, but he's not a runner.
Yeah.
My bigger concern is just, can he hit the layups? I mean, 59% completion percentage, the lowest completion percentage I think he's had in the league was this year at 58.6, but he's 59.7 for his career. I mean, that's just kind of low. But I mean, once upon a time, I mean, he went 3rd in the draft. So there were a bunch of people in the league that thought this guy was a good player.
I thought I
And it
remember
hasn't
people
worked out.
comparing him to Andrew Luck.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people like him, and Kyle's probably one of them.
Yeah.
Kyle probably thinks he's good. But I'll say this, if I was Darnold and it was the 3rd job, absolutely. I mean, with these weapons, why would you not want to come here?
Yeah, but from Darnold's perspective, he's probably saying, look, I could play on this team. There's a possibility I get on the field here because God knows with Brock Purdy and Trey Lance hasn't proven anything yet. I mean, Sam Darnold might feel that he could beat out Trey Lance or outshine him in a training camp. Do you think Trey Lance is looking at this sign and thinking, geez, it's competition?
Well, no, I think Trey's got it really simple, which is just, get better and, keep learning, keep getting better. And eventually I'm going to be on top, because Trey's got some unbelievable ability to escape and to create and to run and to throw down the field. So I think he's just more than anything looking to get healthy, get reps, and get on the field. That's, I think, should be his mindset, no matter where he is, no matter where he sits on the depth chart, I guess, for all 3 of these guys. But I mean, Darnold's interesting from a standpoint of, he's got the stature. And we've seen glimpses of good things, and you kind of mentioned it. He's shown glimpses. There's just an awful lot of turnovers there. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if it can work out. But your read is he's the 3rd guy. You don't look at this and say Sam Darnold thinks he's the number 2 guy and the Niners will move Trey Lance.
Well, you wonder, right? I mean, it seems a little strange. Did the Niners say something privately to Sam, like, look, we're going to call you the 3rd quarterback here, but Brock we don't even know with Brock, and Trey's a mystery too. Like, you're a 3rd string quarterback who has the best chance of any 3rd string quarterback to get on the field. What do you say? Maybe that's a pitch that he'd be interesting to him, because what other team would be offering playing time to Sam Darnold? I mean, he had to back up Baker Mayfield last year.
Well, and I got to think, if you're a quarterback, you're looking at the Niner equation, right? Grant, and you're like, look at my 5 eligibles. And, this team, Shanahan is a very good play caller as far as play action. So that can take a little heat off of a immobile quarterback, a pocket passer. He kind of creates that space with the play action game. I don't know. I've never been big on SC quarterbacks, so I think I've probably downgraded them more than I should have. But I just seem like every time I watch Darnold, he's turning the ball over. So I don't know. I personally, there's low risk, right? But it doesn't seem. I don't look at him and go, yeah, that guy. He just got here and it's going to take off. Maybe,
Yeah,
but
no.
he's been in some pretty decent spots and he just can't do it.
I wonder if he looks at the success that Brock Purdy has here and thinks, gee, well, if Brock, can succeed here, maybe I could too. The difference is Brock Purdy always had extreme confidence. He always believed in himself. Like, he played poorly in like the first half against the Cowboys in the playoffs, came back, responded with a great second half. I mean, Sam Darnold is a wreck in terms of confidence. In the sense that he has none. So the Niners would have to build that back up with him. And I don't even, is he a project? I thought Trey Lance was the project. Is Sam Darnold the project now, or is Lance the project? This kind of feels like when they brought in Josh Rosen a couple of years ago.
I think I bet you anything that Kyle likes him and they feel like they can, turn him into something. And, I mean, the thing about it is the one thing I like about it, Grant, is that you don't want to be too young or too old in the NFL. Because if you're too old, I mean, there's 2 old options out there, Joe Flacco and a couple others that, they just guys, Matt Ryan, he's just kind of too old. But then you also have the too young, right? You want to have as many guys as possible in their prime. The one thing you can say about Darnold is he's in the prime of his life. I mean, he's 25. He's 6'3", 225. He's 25. He's had a taste of the NFL in some other spots. You said you felt like he showed a little momentum this last year with Carolina. Maybe they feel like they're catching, lightning in a bottle.
Last question before we move on from Darnold. Do you feel this was the best option for the 49ers? I mean, we've been talking about this for weeks. What are they going to do at quarterback? Their solution was Sam Darnold. We were talking about Mariota. What do you think of, could they have done better here?
It's easy to look back at this and see whatever quarterback does better and say that was the guy.
Yeah.
But I'll say this. I mean, you got to remember that they're not armed with a lot. They're not offering currently, unless something else is going on. They're only offering the 3rd string job. So, God, I got to think Mariota and Baker Mayfield and some of these guys that I liked as potential 3rd quarterbacks may be able to get borderline starting competition jobs this summer. So that was probably a pipe dream. When you look at experience, who they could get for what they're offering and the job that they have available, Darnold probably is close to the very best they could get. And it probably makes sense. Their scouts may have saw something in the last year's game film that they like, and they feel like, hey, you put that guy in this system with Kyle calling plays and rebuild his confidence, and you might get something.
Yeah. Fish and Chip says Javon and Darnold and Jimmy Garoppolo at last gone. It's a good day. Ice Cube voice. Today was a good day. Obviously, Jimmy did not like being with the Niners, says Refugio Gomez. Well,
it's funny. We were listening on the way back in the rental car from Arizona with my 13-year-old, and Ice Cube's "It Was a Good Day" came on. And then after the song was over, my 13-year-old looks at me and he goes, "Dad, that was a banger." Said, yeah.
That's one of the great. Was it the first time he'd ever heard it? 13-year-olds.
Yeah, first time he'd ever heard it. Dad, that's a banger.
It certainly is. Michael Garcia says, is Jadeveon Clowney a free agent? If so, would you consider signing him? On another note, really enjoy watching both your guys' shows. Love it. I'll pass on Clowney at this point.
I will too. I'm not a Clowney guy. He's interesting, though, because you can rush him like through the A gaps. You can move him around. If you like to move a guy around, I think that's your guy. Because that's his greatest thing, Grant. He can play a right side, left side, over the guard, over the center, move him around. But as a pure edge rusher, he doesn't really have that body lean and that. I'd much rather have Leonard Floyd or somebody like that.
Good call. Me too. Official BNA Music 88 says Adam sounded defeated on Twitter. He said, let him get his money. He said nothing about winning games. He better get familiar with QB2 ASAP.